time is now. The place is here, and the whole wide world is filled with cheer.
On September the 25th, we had Mraz unveil his 75th anniversary team. Not football or baseball or basketball, not his favorite teams. No, from his life. If there was a list of the most iconic people from his life, who would be on it? Here it is, number 9 of the 12 DAs of Christmas 2020.
Number 9.
There's a lot that's gone into making this what it is. And what it is a big floppy mess.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't need to give big speeches about my parents, my wife, my daughter. They would all be on the team, but who cares? I'm not going to go down that road, right? There are a couple special ones, and let me just start with Kim Rico. Now, you might remember Kim Rico from the fall of 2003, who interviewed a 16-year-old me with spiked hair and decided, this is the sandwich artist I need to hire. She was the first to give me a job, hired me at Subway, taught me everything I needed to know about the veggie game, if you will, in Subway, because I was not eating healthy at the time. And really, that set up, my potential for working hard and all of that. She installed all of that in me. So that is such a big part of it. Now, what goes hand in hand is earlier in my life, before I got hooked up with a Kim Rico, I just want to give a shout-out to Beatrice Murray. Beatrice Murray, you might remember from West Babylon High School, fantastic lunch lady at the time. And she was the first in my life to undercook a chocolate chip cookie. And where this really played in is by senior year, I was taking 3 lunches. And all I had really known from my father taking the cheap way out as far as groceries went was a Chips Ahoy. Occasionally, we might burn some cookies in the oven. But when Beatrice burst onto the scene in West Babylon High School, she did something I'd never seen before that's really taken it by storm. She underbaked cookies, so it was a little doughier in the middle. It took off. I fell in love with cookies back then. I still love cookies to this day. Later in my Subway days, I would also underbake cookies as well. The heck with salmonella. A cookie is better underbaked. And Beatrice really left her fingerprints all over me. I'd also love to add all 3 of my dogs in my life, Wellington J and currently Eli, to my 75th anniversary team. You know, the best part about having a dog is they don't talk back. And at some of my darkest moments, having conversations with those dogs and them just licking me and giving me their bad breath back really gave me the sanity I deserve. Now, I would also like to add George Higgins to my 75th anniversary list. George is responsible for being the longtime commissioner of the Long Island Flag Football League. Why is that important to me, you say? Well, way back when I was recruited to play offensive line at West Babylon High School by some of the linemen when a right guard went down junior year. They saw a fat kid, love football, love sports. They thought I could be a plug-and-play guard. Problem is, my mother did not sign for my permission slip to play football my entire life. She was scared of injury. What George Higgins did with evolving this Long Island Flag Football League is he gave me a safe outlet to play football, organized football, and I got to chase down a dream of playing tight end. And I stood in there in the trenches and played tight end every fall and spring from the years 2003 to the years 2018 on the Young Guns. And without George Higgins living that dream of a guy who couldn't get down the field but thought he could, really, really was something special. So I'd like to thank George Higgins for that. And I guess last but not least, this is a tough one, but I'm going to go with Steve. And who's Steve, you might say? Well, we never got a last name. But he is our long time waiter at the Farmingdale, Long Island Applebee's.
Wow.
Now, when I was in high school, before legal alcohol happened, there was only one thing to do after 10 o'clock, and that was go to Applebee's for half-price appetizers. And we would always sit at the table where Steve got us. Steve looked a lot like Usher. We eventually started calling him Usher down the line. But Steve was the first person in my life to memorize an order. He knew I walked in there. It was raspberry iced tea on the rocks. It was boneless wings mild, order of mozzarella stick. The order would come to about $14 every single Friday night. And that little bit of respect went a long way, DA, because I remember that feeling of knowing that you were a usual, right? If you're a usual and somebody remembers your order, that's important. That makes you feel important. And no other waiter since had made me feel that way. And I like to make people feel important going forward, and I like to make people feel special. And that's because Steve remembered my boneless wings and mozzarella stick and raspberry iced tea order. He would have to be on my 75th anniversary team.
Number 9 on the 12 DAs of Christmas. You know, it's amazing. I think we were talking about how the NBA was going to do a 75th anniversary team coming up in 2021, 2022. So not this year, but next year. I think that's how we got there. And right before break, I said to Mraz, coming back from break, let's get your 75th anniversary team for your life. I thought it might be good. It was so much better than I could have ever dreamt of going into that break. I mean, how did you know the full name, both first and last, of your lunch lady? I didn't know the first name of any of my lunch ladies. You knew the first and last, Beatrice Murray, and you actually said when Beatrice Murray... First of all, you had a lunch lady named Beatrice. I mean, that's just all types of central casting. But you had the sentence, when Beatrice Murray burst upon the scene.
Well, it should be noted.
Like Derek Thomas with a 7-sack game when Beatrice Murray burst upon the scene.
So Beatrice always had her name tag, Beatrice, and it wasn't until 2-3 years later in college that I realized Beatrice happened to be
Mraz the college years when he has the same lunch ladies.
But I didn't know. So in my homeroom, one of my friends I grew up playing sports with, a kid by the name of Nick Murray. I never knew that was Nick Murray's mom because I never went over to Nick Murray's house. We only, played sports together and stuff. And it wasn't until college where, we were all doing some kind of meetup, maybe playing like some kind of baseball game or something, that Beatrice came and dropped him off. And I said, Nick, why are you with the lunch lady? He goes, dude, that's my mom. And I found out all these.
Why are you with the lunch lady? Why are you with the cookie gal?
Right. I said, wait a minute. Your mom, the home of the underbaked cookie, is the lunch lady? They're the same person? And Nick had always brought, like, baked goods and stuff, too. So Beatrice, I still know to this day, and she's a saint. I never knew, though, that she was my friend's mother. Had no idea.
Also, 3 of the 4 of those are all food-based. Subway, Lunch Lady, and Applebee's waiter, which just goes to show you the weight behind your votes and the significance in your life.